Good evening, I'm Jenna McLinn.
And I'm Tony Atkins. Here's what's coming up next on Panthervision.
Needs improvement. You can then improve it.
Shots fired on campus. The UWM may make changes to increase student safety.
The union is alive with the sound of music, and one of the students' favorite things is the piano.
Degrees, debt, graduation is coming up. We'll tell you the top tips on how to get that dream job.
This happens all the time, by the way, in the mock interviews, is that big pause.
He might seem like an Army drill sergeant.
What are you doing, Dan? Why aren't you doing anything?
I'm right here.
Dan!
Look at this!
Dan!
But that doesn't stop the baseball team from having a little fun.
All that and more coming up on Panthervision.
From the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, this is UWM Panthervision. A weekly newscast reported, written, and produced by students in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication. And now, the news.
Good evening. UWM will look into whether the campus is prepared for an active shooter situation.
That comes after a year-long Panthervision investigation. Callie LeCount joins us live from outside of Chapman Hall with details. Callie?
Thanks, Jenna. In a statement issued to Panthervision, administrators say they will commission a working group to review active shooter preparedness. The group will be chaired by UWM Police Chief Michael Marzian.
Robin Van Harpen, she's the Vice Chancellor of Finance and Administrative Affairs, is going to commission a working group comprised of faculty, staff, students, all together to determine how our university prepares for an active shooter, what steps we've taken, what steps we need to take, speaking about lockdown, campus-wide communications, and we're going to try to compare all of our standing practices against best practices and look for areas in which we could improve.
Our investigation revealed some questions about active shooter preparations. In the statement, the university says it is committed to campus safety and has already begun implementing some changes. One change is the conversion to an opt-out safe alert system. As we told you in our investigation, universities that have an opt-in text alert system have low participation rates, but schools that have an opt-out system have participation near 100%. Another question is whether students know what to do in an active shooter situation.
Now, if you've ever been trained for an active shooter situation at UWM, keep your hand in the air.
Time after time, university after university, students have told us that they have not been trained on what to do.
Shots fired. Do you know what that sounds like? Unless you see the shooter, you may not recognize the sounds for what they are.
Most schools, including UWM, have a professionally produced training video available on their websites. But it's not required viewing for students or for employees. Marzian says the working group will consider whether viewing of that video should be required at freshman orientation.
Well, I think that's a real good topic for this working group because it will have faculty, it will have staff, it will have students on this working group. And we can talk to the students and say, what do you see the benefit of this? The faculty and the staff can all weigh in. And we could make a recommendation. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen. It doesn't mean it won't happen.
Now, the chief says that one of the issues with showing the video at freshman orientation is time. He says police do talk to students and parents at orientation, but they have a lot of information to cover in a very short amount of time.
Callie, speaking of timelines, did the chief give an estimate of how long this will take?
You know, he anticipates that the group will convene in early January, and then he wants to move quickly. He says he doesn't expect the group to take longer than a month or two before reporting back with their recommendations.
Thanks, Callie. The full statement from the university promises a review of other issues as well.
Panthervision's Lakeisha Brown has the part of the coverage, continuing coverage.
Tornado drills.
Attention please, this is a tornado drill.
But not lockdown drills.
And you have a means of egress, the first thing you want to do is get out of the building. And we don't know that we want to overemphasize people defaulting to staying in a building and locking themselves in.
Attention, lockdown drill. But some schools, such as Milwaukee Area Technical College, have regularly scheduled drills. The university statement says that the workings group examination will, quote, include training and drills and campus-wide communications.
And at that point, I was imagining an armed intruder walking from room to room.
WM alum Christy Clancy found herself in the middle of a lockdown at Beloit College, and one of the issues she discovered was that she couldn't lock the classroom door from the inside. That's also the case in many classrooms at UWM.
It locks from the inside. Oh, not this one.
Some doors can be locked without going into the hallway, but most can't. And most instructors do not have keys to the classrooms they use. The university is promising to look at those issues as well, saying that the working group will examine locks and lockdown procedures. In Milwaukee, I'm Lakeisha Brown for Panthervision.
There's one UWM alum who knows what it's like to live through an active shooter situation.
Aaron Nordlow joins us with that part of the story. Aaron?
We introduced you to John Monroe earlier this semester. He was in his office at the Navy Yard in Washington, D.C. when a shooter went on a rampage.
All you could hear was gunshots and people screaming.
Monroe says training for an active shooter situation is crucial.
It's necessary these days, and if people don't do it, to me it's almost a form of malpractice.
I asked him what his thoughts were on UWM forming a committee to increase campus safety.
Given the situation I went through, I think that it's impossible to fully anticipate what could happen during an active shooter event, but it's very important that you at least try to set up some type of realistic exercise or training or presentation to understand what to do.
According to John, text alerts are not enough, and training new students at orientation is key.
For me, I would recommend at least having presentations for incoming students every year, but then I would look at every 2 to 3 years having a full-on 90-minute exercise or hour exercise with other people from outside the campus. So the community, first responders, the fire department, and exercising that communication aspect.
John emphasizes the importance of having a communication plan in place, both on and off campus. Back to you, Jenna.
Thanks, Aaron. Although this is our last newscast of the semester, we will continue to follow this story over break. And next semester, Kylie LeCount and I will take you 2 hours down the road to Northern Illinois University. On Valentine's Day 5 years ago, a graduate student walked into Cole Hall carrying 3 handguns, a shotgun, 8 loaded magazines, and a knife. When it was all over, 6 people were dead and another 19 were injured. We'll look at the steps NIU has taken to improve their active shooter procedures.
The UW system is getting closer to hiring a new president. The 18-person committee interviewed semifinalists over the weekend. The names of the candidates won't be announced until after the committee narrows its field down to finalists, likely before Christmas. The final recommendation will be made in January. The new president will make up to almost $600,000.
After 26 years, UW Stout will say goodbye to the chancellor who led the campus into the 21st century. Charles Swanson has announced he will retire on August 15th, the same day he started in 1988. During his tenure, UW Stout transitioned to a polytechnic university, offering career-oriented degrees with a focus on technology. Under Swanson, the university implemented a laptop requirement for incoming freshmen and began offering technical degrees, including one in game design. The Board of Regents will launch a national search for Swanson's replacement and plans to name a new chancellor by August.
Winter break is just around the corner, but before students can toss their notebooks, they will have to get through finals week. And as I found out, students are more stressed than others.
It's that time again here at UWM, and students all over are picking up their coffee and hitting the books. While a majority of students are pros at finals week, others are finding their way.
It's actually my first semester still.
Firaz Hamid, a biology student at UWM, It's learning that time management is key when you're a student.
So organizing time. Organizing your time's the toughest. You know, when you try and play ball, work out, hang out with your friends, go to school, it's tough. It's tough organizing your time.
It's not an easy task.
Right.
Just ask Hamid's friend, Ramesh Shaheen, who has found a system that works for him.
I'm sitting here trying to organize my time, like find which test is where. Like I even wrote them on my hand, my whole test schedule.
Like most freshmen, this trio loves to have fun, but according to Omar Salih, they still work hard in class.
There's been a couple of times where we actually did stuff. We actually accomplished stuff.
While these guys are figuring it out together, Real May Escueda, a mentor at the Student Success Center, is helping those in need.
Their personal assistant is kind of the word I like using. If they ever need anything, they can always call us, contact us, and we'll direct them to wherever they need to go.
It's only a matter of time before lecture halls like these fill up for finals week.
In Milwaukee, I'm Tony Atkins for Panthervision.
While freshmen are learning to manage their time, many seniors are counting down the hours until graduation.
With their walk less than a week away, graduates flocked to the bookstore last week to pick up their caps, gowns, and tassels. Future alums could also pose for pictures in full regala with a mock degree folder. Grads will get their own folders at the commencement ceremony at the U.S. Cellular Arena on December 15th, and their degrees will arrive by mail a few weeks later.
For most students, walking across the graduation stage marks the beginning of a new chapter. But most diplomas come with a significant amount of baggage. According to the Institute for College Access and Success, Wisconsin ranks 8th nationally for students graduating with debt. The average debt for students in Wisconsin was just more than $28,000. Delaware and New Hampshire were the highest ranked debt states with averages of more than $32,000.
Once you graduate, it's not enough to have a degree in your pocket.
You also have to have some cash to pay off that student debt.
Coming up after the break, we'll give you some expert tips on how to nail that first job interview.
This warning because smoking causes lung cancer. The Surgeon General issued this warning because radon can cause lung cancer. Radon is an invisible radioactive gas that seeps inside your home from underground. Protect your family. Have your home tested. Call 1-800-SOS-RADON. Radon problems can be fixed.
This is where powerful ideas lead to proven results. This is where you belong.
A strong, productive workforce. Building one requires proper education and training, not just for today, but for tomorrow. That's why for the last 100 years, thousands of successful workers wearing hats like these began their careers with this one hat.
Thanks for watching UWM Panthervision, Judge Best Student Newscast by the Northwest Broadcast News Association. Panthervision is produced by students in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication in association with Milwaukee Area Technical College.
After graduation, it's time to start a new career.
But before that, though, you have to go through the interview process.
Panthervision's Michael Friday gives us some expert tips on how to nail that first interview.
This is Nick Shulman, a 22-year-old UWM business student before his interview.
I've done interviews in the past for different companies, so I've had some experience doing interviews, yeah, so I would say I'm feeling pretty confident.
And this is him after.
I've learned that I have a lot to learn, quite honestly.
As his pre-interview confidence wilts into naivete, Shulman doesn't have to worry. That's because his interviewer is an interview coach who's made a career helping people start a career, and she really enjoys it. Wendy Turwell puts her communications degree she earned from UWM to use during mock interviews like the one she's doing with Shulman here, and she doesn't pull any punches.
My favorite part, of course, is the grilling.
Shulman now sees interviewing as a skill he can practice, like his jump shot in basketball.
You make a couple threes one day, you're off the next, but I think with interview questions, you practice those, you'll be confident, go walking into an interview that you'll be able to answer and nail all the questions rather easily.
Turwelp stresses two surefire ways to fail an interview, and neither has anything to do with how you answer a question.
You always want to think about dressing one notch above for the position.
Her second warning is Shulman's biggest takeaway.
You might have had a good weekend out at the bars, but try and keep it off social media.
Shulman understands the importance of good interviewing skills because, as Turwelp's company preaches, a great job opportunity could be knocking.
We'll see where the future takes me.
In Milwaukee, I'm Michael Friday for Panthervision.
Turwelp graduated from UWM in 1987 and has been a career coach since 1989. She still does some in-person interviews, but now usually uses the video conferencing program Skype to help her clients.
The UWM chapter of the National Student Speech Language Hearing Association is winning a national award. The chapter is being honored with organization's Gold Standing Award. The gold rating is the highest rating in the UWM chapter, with only 14 chapters in the country to receive it. There are more than 300 chapters nationwide.
A UWM research team is turning the tables on Facebook. With social media becoming a huge part of people's lives, privacy and information sharing is becoming more of an issue. Information science professor Michael Zimmer released an online multimedia database that holds all public utterances by Facebook founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg. The goal of the Zuckerberg files is to make sure all of his comments about user privacy is accessible to researchers.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates around 600,000 people each year die in America from heart disease. A clinic at MATC is trying to help cut down the number by offering free heart scans. Warren Barth tells us about in tonight's MATC report.
Busy time for students with Thanksgiving, final exams to study for, and the holidays approaching. All that stress can affect your heart. It's the perfect time to get a free heart scan at MATC's Echocardiography Clinic.
We do these scans on faculty, staff, administration, and students. They have to fill out some paperwork, sign a release, and then we do the screening. Well, what we watch for when a student is performing a scan on an echocardiogram or a cardiac ultrasound is we look at the chambers of the heart, we look at the overall function. We basically look for trouble, but we also give a lot of good feedback as to how well things are working and that everything's in the right place.
Color Doppler shows blood flow through the heart. What we do is we obtain our normal images, and as we have the image held in the transducer on the chest, and as we're looking at our image, and we can see blood flow towards the transducer and blood flow away, and we can see if blood is going where it shouldn't be.
What people can do to maintain a healthy heart are things like just exercise regularly. We like to say all things in moderation, and so if they exercise, they watch their blood pressure and keep their weight down and make sure that you eat right. So mostly it's a common sense approach to wellness.
In Milwaukee for Panthervision, this is Warren Barth.
Heart disease costs the U.S. more than $1 billion each year.
UWM is growing in more ways than one. Chancellor Michael Lovell cut the ribbon to open the new Biological Sciences greenhouse last week. Formerly a bare patch of roof on the northwest quadrant, this space was transformed into a lab that houses hundreds of plants. Construction caused the lab to move several times from Lapham across town to the Freshwater Sciences building. But the northwest quadrant offers the greenhouse a permanent home. The lab's balmy temperatures and humid air provides shelter from plunging temperatures for plants and students alike. Josh Weber joins us with a look at our weather. Josh?
Thank you. How was your Sunday? Were you two able to stay safe during the snowstorm yesterday?
Yeah, I stayed inside most of the day, drank hot chocolate.
Last week I put some new tires on my car, so we're rolling pretty good.
That's good to hear. You are a little bit luckier than some of the people yesterday, as the big snowstorm brought some serious accidents out on the roadways. I-43 southbound saw a car pileup of almost 60 cars yesterday as we look at UWM's campus here. And going into the headlines for this week, we're walking in a winter wonderland. It's going to be a blustery week. And also on Wednesday, we're going to see a real cool chill down, just like we saw over this past weekend. But first, we'll look at the current conditions outside. Look at partly cloudy, temperature of 19 degrees, dew points at 9, barometric pressures at 745. Today, partly cloudy, high of 20, low of 7. Precipitation at 20% today. Looking at the lows around the state, it's chilly. Up in Rhinelander, 10 below 0. Over in Eau Claire, we have 7 below. La Crosse is just at 2. Green Bay at 1 below 0. Oshkosh at 1 above 0. Madison at 4. Here in Milwaukee, we're lucky we have the highest temperature at 7 degrees above 0. Looking into the highs for today, 9 in Rhinelander, 6 Eau Claire, 11 in La Crosse, Green Bay at 17, Oshkosh 16, Madison also at 16, and then we in Milwaukee once again lucky at 20 whole degrees above 0. Looking into the forecast for tonight, partly cloudy, low of 7, winds out of the southwest at 17 miles per hour. Going into tomorrow, we're going to be at a partly cloudy but with a lot of wind, high of 21, low of 12. However, with those winds coming out of the southwest at 22 miles an hour, it's going to feel a lot colder than that 21. Going into Wednesday, mostly cloudy, high of 13, low of 1. It's going to be real chilly. Winds coming out of the west at 13. Once again, make sure you bundle up out there. It's going to be cold. Looking into the rest of the week on Thursday, partly cloudy, high of 21, low of 13. Looking into Friday, mostly cloudy, 25, low of 16. Saturday, going to get real warm, 28 degrees and cloudy, low of 16. And then on Sunday, to round out the weekend, high of 23, low of 22.
I can't believe I'm looking forward to a 28-degree Saturday.
You know, it's going to be nice. It's going to be really nice to get out if maybe you want to go skiing or snowboarding, ice skating. Tony, you ski or snowboard?
I ski.
What about you?
Snowboard.
Very nice, very nice. Well, have fun out there in the snow this week.
Thanks, Josh. Is finals week causing stress? Does it feel like a knife is being stabbed through your brain? An MATC chemistry teacher may have found out that being stabbed is more helpful than it sounds. Miranda Morin has more in this MATC report.
Exams are fast approaching. Have you been stressing about them? Chemistry tutor Susie Stoffel at the West Dallas campus recommends a holistic way to alleviate that stress.
You can get acupuncture just because you're curious and you want to see what it feels like, and oftentimes those are the people that find the biggest wow.
If you're afraid of needles, have no fear. This is non-invasive and painless.
We aren't always in touch with where we're at until all of a sudden you're feeling better.
An acupuncture treatment can help your energy flow better, allowing for a healthier body.
We can imagine a stream and it either doesn't have enough water in it or has too much water in it. It's not flowing right. Or say the water's too hot or it's frozen. It's not flowing. So what the needles do is they actually help those pathways to flow better.
I could see how people would be hesitant to acupuncture, but it is a great stress reliever from what I've heard, so I'm definitely willing to try it. I think it sounds really interesting.
Being the healthiest you can be during exam time can help you bring home the A's.
Even a small mini treatment where you just get a few needles in the ear and you're there for about 15 minutes, you and a group of friends, it can really help your body remember. It's almost like hitting a reset button.
Grab some friends and try out acupuncture. Who knows, one treatment and you could be acing exams left and right. This has been Miranda Morin with MATC Report.
Acupuncture originated in China, but it has become more popular in the Western world since the start of the 21st century.
Coming up after the break.
Another NCAA tournament round game will tell you how the UWM women's volleyball team did.
Horizon League Player of the Year. UWM has 3 of them, and one of them is up for another award.
We'll tell you who and bring you more in sports when we return.
Smoking causes lung cancer. The Surgeon General issued this warning because radon can cause lung cancer. Radon is an invisible radioactive gas that seeps inside your home from underground. Protect your family. Have your home tested. Call 1-800-SOS-RADON. Radon problems can be fixed.
This is where powerful ideas lead to proven results. This is where you belong.
A strong, productive workforce. Building one requires proper education and training, not just for today, but for tomorrow. That's why for the last 100 years, thousands of successful workers wearing hats like these began their careers with this one hat.
Thanks for watching UWM Panthervision, judged Best Student Newscast by the Northwest Broadcast News Association. Panthervision is produced by students in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication in association with Milwaukee Area Technical College.
The women's volleyball season has come to a close.
And the men's basketball team is finding some early success. Joe Horning joins us now with sports. Joe?
The season has come to an end for the UWM Panthers volleyball team. The Panthers fell to the Wisconsin Badgers 3-0 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The Badgers' Demi Morales had 11 kills, and the team made just 4 hitting errors en route to the victory. Mayana Reese led the Panthers with 8 kills and 13 digs. The Panthers finished the season 18-11 overall and graduate just 1 senior going into next season. The Badgers move into play California in the second round of the tournament. Along with the volleyball team, both Panther soccer programs made the NCAA tournament. It is the first time a Horizon League school has won all 3 championships in the same year since 2002. And the team that did that back then was UWM. Panthervision's Mike Picaro takes a look at the man who whips the Panthers into shape for competition.
First impression of Ron Thompson is a man with a mustache that walked across the Sahara Desert with nothing but 100-pound dumbbells in his hands.
Not exactly, but Ron Thompson's commitment to teaching athletes has taken him to various parts of the country.
I've just been different places and, moved around and just worked my way through the profession.
Thompson's been to places such as SMU, Purdue University, and Boise State, to name a few. Now he finds himself here in Milwaukee, where in just his second year as the head strength and conditioning coach, he is making an impact on the Panther programs.
Before he got here, I would say the workouts weren't as serious.
Thompson is known to give off an intimidating first impression. Just ask the athletes.
Knew he meant business right away.
First impression of Ron was a man who does not accept mediocrity.
What are you doing, Dan? Why aren't you doing anything?
It's common for Thompson to get on his athletes, especially when they don't do what is asked.
He got real mad at me because I stopped doing my high knees an inch before the line. And
it's all tough love, Thompson says, and everything he does is to get the athletes motivated to get better.
There's going to be times I'm going to ride you and I'm going to jump on you and, but then I'm going to turn around and pat you on the back and say what a great job.
Don't let the old school mentality fool you, though. The 58-year-old is here to have fun, too.
Even though he's really serious in the weight room and stuff, he knows how to keep a loose atmosphere. Sometimes I'll catch him singing songs off in the corner by himself where he thinks nobody's watching. So.
Are you in between inning entertainment? Is that what you are?
Yeah. In Milwaukee, I'm Mike Picaro for Panthervision.
The men's basketball team is off to their best start in a decade. The latest win was a 73-67 defeat of the Bradley Braves at the Klatsche Center on Saturday afternoon. Kyle Kellum and Austin Arians led the Panthers with 17 points each. Tyshawn Pickett and Walt Lemon Jr. scored 20 points apiece to lead Bradley in the loss. The win is the Panthers' 5th straight and improves the team to 9-2 on the season. The Panthers played at the Klatsche due to a scheduling conflict at the U.S. Cellular Arena. The women's basketball team is now in the Klatsche Center record books. The team hosted their 3rd highest attendance in Klatsche history on Wednesday. School day with the Panthers drew a sellout crowd of 3,500 school kids. The Panthers lost to the University of North Dakota 78-66. Angela Rodriguez led the Panthers with a game-high 21 points. The Panthers lost yesterday against Bowling Green Falcons 87-64. Their overall record is now 2-6. Former UWM women's soccer standout Sarah Hagan earned her first official call-up with the U.S. women's national team. 31 players have been called up for the camp. That is going until December 15th at the U.S. Soccer National Training Center in Carson, California. Hagen competed with the U23 women's national team in the past. She was the team's top scorer in 2011 with 7 goals and 1 assist in just 6 games. During her career at UWM, Hagen was a 3-time Horizon League Player of the Year. The men's soccer awards keep coming in after the season's end. Horizon League Player of the Year Lori Bell is a semifinalist for the Mac Herman Trophy. Bell is just one of 15 finalists for the award that honors the National Player of the Year in college soccer. The junior had the best season of his career, finishing among the nation's best with 13 goals and 30 points. In early December, the top 3 vote-getters for both the men's and women's trophies will be announced as finalists for the awards. That's it for sports. Jen and Tony.
Thanks, Joe. The piano might be a solo instrument, but not for some musicians.
As Panthervision's Will Bott found out, these guys found that the black and white keys have brought them together to make quite the symphony.
For most passersby, the sound of the Union piano is just a minor chord in a major campus. But a few students have composed friendships at this instrument. Meet 25-year-old Jake Svetlik.
So I was like, well, I'm new to the school, I gotta meet people. I should probably meet him and figure out what's going on with this.
Jake met junior Teddy Bryan a year ago at this piano. Bryan has made meaningful friends here.
When it's all based on this connection that you made from the very beginning with music, you know, that's something that just doesn't break very easily.
Avery Bond has had 1 piano lesson in his life. He has sharpened his skills while playing with Bryan.
He taught me not to go straight to the melody, but kind of work around it and then come back to the melody after you like spice it up a bit, you know?
The friendship that these piano men have has crescendoed to outside of the Union.
I usually hang out at his house playing his keyboard. He has a new keyboard, and it's really awesome.
Teddy's home is a place to jam and to create sounds with various piano-like instruments, including keyboards and synthesizers.
This is kind of the thing you do when you're here.
It's inviting to piano players, including Will Matthews, another key member of the group.
We share a lot of ideas, so it's a lot of fun.
As these friends continue to follow their passion of piano, they hope to bring their rhythm of friendship to the rest of the school.
Everyone at the school really in the end just wants to be able to make good friends with people.
In Milwaukee, I'm Will Bott for Panthervision.
The Union Piano is available for use daily from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Thank you for tuning in for tonight's edition of Panthervision.
You can watch us on Time Warner Channel 14 and AT&T UVerse Channel 99 at 5 o'clock on Wednesdays and Fridays.
This is our last newscast for the year. A special thank you to the students in MATC's video and production class for making us look good each week.
Have a great winter break, everyone.